You have been strong for too long, stronger than you ever asked to be, stronger than anyone ever noticed. You wake up carrying weights you never agreed to carry. You go to sleep with thoughts that refuse to rest. And somewhere in between, you smile, you function, you survive. But I see the cracks behind your strength. I see how your heart tightens when no one is watching. I see the silent prayers you whisper that never leave your chest. I see how tired your soul has become. My child, you were never meant to carry this alone. I did not design you to be a fortress. I designed you to be held. You have been holding together pieces that should have already fallen into my hands. You keep replaying what went wrong. You keep wondering what you should have done differently. You keep blaming yourself for things that were never yours to fix. Listen to me now. Let me carry this for you, not because you failed, but because you have endured enough. I know the weight you're carrying has a name. For some, it is grief that never found closure. For others, it is anxiety disguised as responsibility. For many, it is the pressure of being the one everyone depends on. You tell yourself, just a little longer. You say, I can handle it. You believe that if you let go, everything will fall apart. But hear me clearly. What is breaking you was never meant to be sustained by human strength. You are exhausted not because you are weak, but because you are human. And I have been waiting for this moment, not to judge you, not to correct you, but to relieve you. Come closer. I want you to notice something. The burden you carry has changed the way you breathe, the way you trust, the way you hope. You laugh less freely now. You sleep less peacefully. You pray more quietly. You've learned to hide your pain behind productivity. You've learned to call survival discipline. You've learned to call loneliness independence. But I never asked you to live like this. I never asked you to suffer in silence. You are not failing me by feeling overwhelmed. You are not disappointing me by needing rest. You are not losing faith because you feel tired. In fact, your weariness is proof that you have been trying, and now I'm asking you to stop trying alone. Let me carry this for you. I know you are afraid of what happens if you let go. You fear that if you stop holding everything together, you will be exposed. You fear that if you rest, you will fall behind. You fear that if you trust me fully, you will lose control. But my child, control is not safety. Surrender is. You've been gripping situations I already resolved. You've been worrying about outcomes I already shaped. You've been stressing over doors I already decided to open or close. You don't see the full picture yet, but I do. And I need you to understand something important. Your burden does not scare me. Your pain does not overwhelm me. Your mess does not repel me. I am not intimidated by what you carry. I am inviting you to place it down. Right here, right now. You don't have to explain everything perfectly. You don't need the right words. You don't need to be calm first. Just be honest. Tell me how heavy it feels. Tell me how long you've been pretending you're okay. Tell me what you've been afraid to admit out loud. I already know, but I want you to release it. Because the moment you do, something shifts. Not around you, within you. Peace doesn't arrive when problems disappear. Peace arrives when you stop carrying what isn't yours. And some of what you're holding was never assigned to you. You've been carrying guilt that belongs to the past. You've been carrying responsibility for other people's choices. You've been carrying shame that I already forgave. You keep punishing yourself for lessons already learned. Why? Because somewhere along the way, you believed love had to be earned through endurance. But my love does not require you to suffer to deserve it. You don't have to break to be worthy. You don't have to bleed to be seen. You don't have to drown to prove your faith. I am not impressed by how much pain you can tolerate. I am moved by your willingness to... Let me carry this for you. I know you're tired of being told to stay strong. I know you're tired of motivational words that fade by morning. I know you're tired of praying and still feeling the weight when you wake up. But this is not empty encouragement. This is an invitation to rest your soul. Not forever, just enough to breathe again. Because strength returns when rest is allowed. You don't lose momentum by pausing. You regain clarity. You don't fall behind by surrendering. You realign. I am not asking you to give up. I am asking you to give over. There is a difference. Giving up says, I can't. Giving over says, I trust you. And trust is the bridge between exhaustion and peace. You may not feel instant relief, but you will feel something loosen, something soften, something unclench. That is me working beneath the surface. I am already rearranging what you think is falling apart. I am already protecting you from outcomes you cannot see. I am already preparing answers you haven't asked yet. But I need you to stop carrying what is crushing you. Your hands were not made for this weight. Your heart was not designed for constant strain. Your mind was not meant to replay fear endlessly. You were meant to live, and I am not finished with you. This season is not your ending. This heaviness is not your identity. This struggle is not your punishment. It is a signal that it's time to release what you were never meant to hold alone. Let me carry this for you. You have carried this for so long that it feels like part of who you are. The weight has become familiar. The pain has learned your name, and somewhere along the way, you stopped asking when it would end and started asking how to survive it. But listen to me. You were never created to merely survive. You were created to breathe freely, to wake up without dread, to walk without constantly bracing for impact. Yet every day you brace yourself. You expect disappointment before it arrives. You prepare for loss before it happens. You shield your heart because you are afraid that if you open it again, it will break all over. I see that fear. I see how you flinch at hope now, how you hesitate before trusting, how you keep part of yourself guarded, even from me. Not because you don't believe, but because believing again feels risky. You've been disappointed before. You've prayed before. You've waited before. And when the answer didn't come the way you expected, you learned to protect yourself. So you started carrying everything alone. But my child, isolation was never your armor. It has only made the weight heavier. You think you're strong because you don't fall apart in front of others. But strength is not hiding pain. Strength is knowing where to place it. And I am asking you, gently, patiently, place it with me. Let me carry this for you. You don't need to rehearse your pain anymore. You don't need to relive it to justify it. You don't need to keep explaining why it still hurts. Pain does not expire just because time passes. Some wounds ache quietly. Some losses echo longer. Some betrayals change the way the soul trusts forever. I know. And I am not asking you to pretend it didn't hurt. I am asking you to stop letting it define you. You have been identifying with your struggle instead of your purpose. You say, this is just who I am now. You say, this is how life works. You say, I don't expect much anymore. But I never lowered my expectations for you. I never looked at your life and said, this is all they'll get. You may feel stuck. You may feel delayed. You may feel like time has moved on without you. But delay is not denial. And silence is not absence. While you thought nothing was happening, I was working in ways you couldn't see. I was closing doors you kept trying to reopen. I was protecting you from paths that looked right but led to deeper pain. I was strengthening parts of you that would be needed later. Yes, later. Because what you're carrying now is not meant to stay with you forever. This season has an expiration date, but you won't recognize the new season if you keep holding onto the weight of the old one. Let me carry this for you. You've been asking for peace while gripping control. You've been asking for clarity while refusing rest. You've been asking for healing while reopening wounds in your mind. Healing begins where surrender starts. Not dramatic surrender, not public surrender, quiet surrender. The kind that happens when you admit, I can't keep doing this alone. That prayer, even whispered, reaches me faster than the loudest words. You don't need to be polished with me. You don't need to sound faithful. You don't need to hide your frustration. I can handle your honesty. Tell me you're angry. Tell me you're confused. Tell me you're tired of waiting. I would rather have your raw truth than your forced faith, because forced faith fractures the soul, but honest surrender heals it. You've been measuring your life by what hasn't happened yet. You've been counting years, not growth. You've been focusing on what you lost instead of what survived. But look at you. You're still here, still standing, still hoping, even if quietly, still listening. That alone tells me something powerful. You haven't given up. You've just been wounded. And wounded people don't need pressure. They need care. So I am slowing you down, not to punish you, but to restore you. Sometimes I remove momentum so I can repair the foundation. Sometimes I quiet the noise so you can hear my voice again. Sometimes I allow stillness so you can finally feel what you've been avoiding. You're not falling behind. You're being realigned. And realignment often feels uncomfortable before it feels peaceful. You might feel restless. You might feel emotional. You might feel exposed. That's not weakness. That's healing beginning. Because numbness fades before peace arrives. Let me carry this for you. You don't have to know how everything will work out. You don't have to see the full path. You don't have to fix your future tonight. All I am asking is for you to trust me with this step. Just this one. Release the pressure to have it all figured out. Release the expectation that you must always be Release the belief that rest equals failure. It doesn't. Rest is where I rebuild you. When you stop striving, you start hearing. When you stop forcing, you start feeling. When you stop carrying, you start healing. You may not recognize yourself at first without the burden. It has been with you so long. But what you will discover is that peace feels lighter than pain ever did, and you were always meant to feel this light again. I am closer than you think. I am working even when you don't feel me. I am faithful even when you are tired. Let me carry this for you, not because you're done, but because something new is about to begin. You are beginning to feel it now. Not the answers yet, not the full relief, but a quiet shift inside you, something loosening, something softening, something no longer fighting as hard as before. That is not weakness. That is your soul remembering what it feels like to be held. You have lived in survival mode for so long that peace feels unfamiliar. You don't quite trust it yet. You keep waiting for something to go wrong. But hear me carefully. Peace is not a trap. It is your natural state when you stop resisting my care. You have been tense for years. Your shoulders learned to stay raised. Your mind learned to stay alert. Your heart learned to expect disappointment. And now that I am asking you to rest, your body doesn't know how. That's okay. Healing is not instant. It is gentle. It is patient. It unfolds layer by layer. I am not rushing you. I am retraining your heart to feel safe again. You don't need to snap back into strength. You don't need to prove resilience. You don't need to perform faith. Just stay here with me. Let me do what you couldn't do for yourself. You have been strong in the wrong ways for too long. Strong enough to keep going. Strong enough to not ask for help. Strong enough to carry what should have been shared. But now I am giving you a different kind of strength. The strength to pause. The strength to trust. The strength to let go without fear. This is not the strength of force. This is the strength of surrender. And surrender is not losing control. It is placing control into hands that will not drop you. You don't see it yet, but I am already restoring what was drained. Energy is returning quietly. Clarity is returning slowly. Hope is returning gently. Not loud, not dramatic, but real. I am repairing places you learned to ignore. I am healing wounds you normalized. I am touching memories you buried because they hurt too much to face. You don't need to relive them. I am not reopening pain to wound you again. I am releasing it so it no longer controls you. Some of the heaviness you feel lifting is not because circumstances changed. It's because you stopped blaming yourself. You carried guilt that was never yours. You accepted responsibility for outcomes you could not control. You punished yourself for not being able to save everyone. But I never asked you to be the savior. I already am. You were never meant to fix everything. You were meant to walk with me through it. And now that you are finally letting me lead, you are beginning to feel lighter. This is what alignment feels like. Not everything resolved, but nothing crushing you anymore. I know part of you is still cautious. You're afraid to hope too much, afraid to relax fully, afraid that if you let your guard down, life will hurt you again. That fear makes sense, but fear does not get the final word. I do. And I say this clearly. What hurt you before will not define what comes next. You are not repeating the same cycle. You are breaking it. What once overwhelmed you will not overwhelm the version of you I am rebuilding, because you are not the same person you were back then.